Wait, you're saying that Lathander communicated with you directly?
Indeed he did. We're not sure if he was actually there before us, or if it was a projection of his being, but we did converse with Lathander for a time. He pledged his support to our quest, and told us that the gods were waiting for us to defeat the Dark God's physical form, so that they may banish his spirit forever. He also told us that we could get healing from his statues, his own power used to rejuvenate our beings. If we can further purify the temple, we may be able to get more support from him.
Then our quest cannot fail, for Lathander himself watches over us and gives us his blessing.
Welcome back, folks, to Let's Play The Eye of the Beholder 3, Assault on Myth-Drannor, and when last we left off, our spells are expiring. We're going to rest and get them back in a moment. We found Tabitha on one of the lower levels of the Temple of Lathander, and we healed her up, and she joined our party. She replaces Buganius, a magician that I hate to admit that I didn't use as well as I could have, but I didn't use him as well as I could have. I don't use Rune as well as I can either. His spells are extremely powerful, but the action of having to go into the spellbook and then cast them is so inconvenient that I typically don't. I really should use his spells more often, especially Disintegrate. That is a terrifyingly powerful one. As it stands, we're currently on the second floor of the temple. I don't know how many floors there are. I'm going to guess that there are going to be quite a few, though, because this is definitely final dungeon material. And I have a party that I'm really happy with as well, with 5 spellcasters, albeit 2 of them are quite minor spellcasters. With all of the buffing done, it's time to press this other button that I might add is over here when we look in this direction, but here when we look in this direction. I know that's the game trying to tell us that there's something there, but the button is moving when we change the direction we're looking in. And we can press it from here. We shouldn't be able to press it from there. In here is a suit of plate mail that we're not going to be using because it is highly cursed. A shame. This might have been a useful set of armour, but it seems the Dark God's magic has corrupted the enchantment within it. A pity, but what can you do? Apart from not put it on, I was not planning on doing so. It's hardly my kind of armour after all. We'll head back up the way we came and keep heading to the north, because we haven't gone this way. Will we find enemies to deal with? We will find enemies to deal with! And I need to cast haste, because remember when I said that I don't use the spells of my arcane casters well enough? There is a good example. The one spell that I typically use with Rune, and I forgot to. I didn't forget that time, though. Unfortunately, there was another one right behind that one, waiting to sludge its way over here and defeat us, but it didn't manage to get a single hit off. Anything over here? No. There are doors, though, and these doors have levers made of what looks like gold, but is probably brass. Ready, everyone?
Ready as will ever be. Nothing. Perhaps it was a cell, or someone's quarters. There's something here to read. Let me look over it. It is morning's light that saves us from the shroud of night. It is morning's light that shelters, shields us from our fright. It fills our hearts with hope, refreshes souls with light, and shows us all the darkness of the morning Lord's plight. Its only use for right, for the greater God's fight, has brought us face to face with the Dark One's foul spite. Morning's light, O morning's light, return to our fair morning Lord, set all to just and right. Grim reading indeed, if the morning Lord's light cannot penetrate this most holy of places.
We will make it shine again.
I hope so.
Nothing in here? What about down here? Well, sounds like there are enemies. That's because there are enemies. We can deal with them, though. And I don't want to find out if these enemies can poison us. They probably can. And they're gone. And there's nothing in here that made exploring in this direction worth it apart from that scroll that I doubt is going to be that useful. Let's go the other way and find no enemies at all, apart from the ones that we can hear that are in these rooms. Like that one there, guarding a cursed weapon. This weapon is also infused with the Dark God's foul magic. What is it with this Dark God and ruining all of our loot? Is he really trying to make me annoyed? I don't think he's intentionally out to spite us. Are you sure about that? He must know that we're on our way to kill him. And for that matter, why didn't he just kill us when he got that book? Perhaps he couldn't. Maybe he's not at his full strength yet. If he's not at his full strength yet, I don't want to see what his full strength is. I'm afraid we're going to have to, Sandstar. I know, but I can hope. There are more of these. Any more? No. There are goodies here, though. Let's have a... Okay, there's something in the wall there. Let's be very cautious and save before we decide to go fully into this room. This could be a trap. In fact, I'm very sure this is some kind of trap. But nothing happened, so let's quickly move all the stuff over here where we know that we're at least somewhat safe. Ah. Well, I didn't notice that. That's unfortunate. Indeed. None of us noticed until it was too late. We're trapped. Great. There's probably a way out. Oh, there probably is, but I don't know what it is. It might involve these pressure plates. The one over there says that there'll be more of them. Oh, I hope it's not what I think it is. It's probably what you think it is. We have this robe +3, that could be useful. As for this potion, it's a potion of speed, and this shield, we don't know if it is useful. If we take off this shield, our armor class is too high, that if this is a +2 shield, it would still make our armor class -10, but would still be worse than what we're using. But if we take off our armor here, our armor class is -2, and now it's -3. Okay. The shield that we picked up just now is better than the one we were using, and we don't need any of this. Oh, there are a lot of pressure plates and a lot of things to fire a lot of magic at us. And I know what we need to do here. Throw this, and wait, and dodge the inevitable fireball. Or lightning bolt. It could have been a lightning bolt. Now there's one more, and we need to throw one thing at it. Not any of that. Something that we don't need. This entirely non-magical helmet. That actually didn't go where I wanted it to. But it will do now. And that has opened the way back. What a relief. The last thing I wanted was to be trapped in that small room forever. Perhaps another group of adventurers would have found us in time. I doubt that somehow. Who would come here when the Dark God's grip has taken a firm hold? We could only hope. But the hope was not needed, for we were fine. For now. We're back in the area that we appeared on this floor. Now we want to go south, and this turns us north, and we're back to facing the right way. Anyone in here? There are bags of incense here, which tells me we're going to need them, so we will carry them. The only problem is, what are we going to drop? You know this Rod of Restoration? We never actually used it. We may end up using it at some point, but not right now. Now we've made some room. No enemies in here. There is this. Now, am I going to use something on this? You know what? Let's actually do that. I don't know what it does, but we've done it. As for in here, there are enemies. We could hear them. It was just a matter of finding where they were. And they're gone. There is a statue here for full healing if we need it, which we do not. And there's this room with a sling. It's not even a magical sling. Entirely useless. It could be used for dealing with a trap. Oh, I suppose that's true. We'll carry it. At least it's not cursed. And I spy a button. Well spotted. Thank you. Danger. Huge something. Trap. 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 We're going to save, because that is definitely a trap. The question is, what kind of trap? You know what kind of trap it is? It's the I'm going to move forward very quickly and try and avoid it trap. We've seen a few situations where that works, and this might not be one of them, but I'm just going to throw caution to the wind and give it a go. Oh! Good thing I did move, because that's a lot of lightning. Danger, high voltage. Now why didn't the other sign say that? It was too worn for us to read, but who wore it down? Time? If Time wore it down, why didn't it wear these ones down? Oh, never mind. Let's just keep looking around, shall we? See what was on this side of the floor that made that danger worth it. I imagine there are going to be enemies here that will make that exploration worth it. Well, we can hear them, and we can see them. Let's just quickly deal with you, and hope that, well, we nearly got hit there. Fortunately, the attack didn't actually connect. What about over here? We didn't actually have a proper look down there, did we? Well, if we hadn't before, we have now, and there's nothing there. There's something here, though. And there's still something here, for the spell did not work. Disintegrate definitely is an all-or-nothing kind of spell. You either get rid of a threat, or the threat just stands there and goes, "Did you try something?" There is a scroll, a single scroll of Cure Critical Wounds. That was not worth exploring this area for. I hope there's something else. There's not going to be anything else, is there? Not that I can see, but our spells are starting to expire. We can get that spell back at the very least. The last thing we want to do is inadvertently pick up something that's cursed. We're starting to see quite a few cursed items. So that is the east area done. Now for the west area, which I imagine is also going to be full of those sludge-like monsters and peril. Well, there's the sludge-like monster, and with it comes the peril. I don't want to know how hard they hit. They probably hit way too hard. I'm thinking 20s, maybe 30 health. Ah, gauntlets of strength enhancement. These will be very useful for me indeed. And this, I imagine, will be useful for me. Indeed it is. That brings your armor class up to a very impressive -7. Shield +1, don't need. Rock, also don't really need. Arrows +3 would be useful if we still had Delmare. We do not have Delmare. We also don't want to move forward there and get surrounded by these monsters. That was very likely. Also, the aid spell has expired. Let us see about casting another one of those. The other one is going to expire in a moment as well. And that's not going to be great. There is nothing here. There's an area up here with a short sword. Let's see what this short sword's all about, eh? It's a +4 short sword. We don't need that. We could do with this frost key, though. That screams, "Hey, I'm useful! Take me with you!" And we certainly will. And we'll drop this scroll of fireball, because when there's a choice between a key and a fireball scroll, you take the key. Keys are much more useful. Now, the only way we can go is down here. And all of our spells are starting to expire, so let us rest. Fortunately, there aren't many enemies here, which means resting is easy. And we didn't really need to do any healing, so it didn't take long. We'll get the spells ready to go, and this time we're actually going to get haste going right now. Haste does last a very long time indeed, and we don't have the problems of being fatigued like we do in Baldur's Gate 2. We'll cast that there, and then do we still have prayer? We have prayer once, so I don't want to cast that again, but I do want to cast create food and water, because I haven't cast that for a while. There's something here. Blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall find the way. I wonder what that means. We'll have to keep it in mind as we... Okay, there's something odd about this place.
That there is. I don't think we're making any progress here. Well, we sort of are, but... and yet we're sort of not.
Something about that sign. Blessed are the pure of heart. Ah, I think I figured it out.
What is it, Tabitha?
I think the sign is being quite literal. We should bless ourselves.
You mean just the spell?
It's worth a try. Do you have that, Lilamva?
I do.
If it works, it works. If it doesn't, no loss. Ah, I see now. This here was disorientating us because we weren't blessed. Well done, Tabitha. It was just my intuition, knowing the kind of tests that Lathander likes to use.
It wasn't a harmful test.
Lathander is a benevolent god.
Let's keep walking around and be glad that there aren't enemies here. There's a lock, and...
I don't think we've actually found a single lock that we could open with our thieves' tools. I think actually their name has changed. I don't think they were originally called thieves' tools. I think they were called lockpicks. But either way, the door is open, and we can move forward. And find nothing at all. Oh no, wait, we found something. We found an enemy. We found many enemies. We need to deal with this foe quickly, and then you. And hope that there aren't more of you. There are more of you. Predictably, as soon as I said, hey, can there not be more? The game went, what? You want more? And it's like, no, not really. I'd much rather there be none. Also, I don't know if Fireball is actually doing anything here, but it can't hurt to use it. And there's one more, because of course there's always one more. Fortunately, we have the capability to dispatch them. And we have... aha! Stairs up. What about this way?
We could use that key that you have.
Indeed. Let's see what is within. There is an orb. Shall we take it?
Why not?
The form of Lathander hands you a wondrous sword. The blade is called Dowzimmer, the Bright Blade. This weapon will obliterate any undead unfortunate enough to feel the blade's bite. Use it to bring my light back to Mithranor. The flawless weapon gleams with a warm auroral light. A long unfamiliar feeling washes over you as you hold it, and recognition dawns slowly. The sensation granted by the sword is the cleansing, everlasting radiance of absolute good. Rune attains level 14, gaining 1 hit point. Was that...
Yes, Tabitha. That was Lathander, in the flesh.
I can't believe it. My patron right before me, and I said nothing. I was too in awe.
You aren't the only one that's in awe about it. As for this blade... Indeed, this is the holy blade, Dowzimmer. I believe you should use this, Valendra.
Surely you should use this, Tabitha. You are Paladin of Lathander, after all. I'm better suited back here. You take it, Valendra. This is your group's quest, after all. Then I shall use it with great honor. We have a powerful item indeed, and we're going to have to make a little bit of room to hold on to everything else, including this wand. Actually, do we want to hold on to this wand anymore? Because we have gained a level for rune. Sustenance, adornment, we don't need that. As for this wand, is there anything we can drop for the wand? We don't need to, actually. Let us check to see what spells you can memorize if we go back. There's nothing here, but there is a 7th level spell, which means Mordenkainen's sword is something that we can prepare, and that is a mighty spell indeed that will finally allow Rune to join the all-attack function. As for this amazing blade, that's a +5 sword, and if what Lathander says is true, which, let's face it, Lathander is a god, he's likely telling the truth, this thing will instantly slay the undead. If only we had that when we were in Darkmoon, eh? Dealing with that legion of undead in the basement dungeon area. But I'm happy to have it now. For when we come back, folks, we're going to go to the 3rd level of the Temple of Lathander. And maybe, just maybe, we'll teach the Dark God the true power of Dao Zimmer. And of the determination of this adventuring party. And so, I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. Later.